Welcome, Aeijaz, Sachin, and Ayush. Honestly, this topic, collaborative technology platforms and B2B travel, is very, very important, because our industry is kind of synchronized, right? There are millions of transactions happening. And if I say that from a funnel point of view, there are travel suppliers on top, which are basically, your hotels, airlines. Then there are technology platforms which are giving a lot of technologies and powering, a lot of content. And then the third layer is definitely the the whole OTAs and GDS of the world, who are again powering and then distributing it. I will call them travel distributor, and then distributing it to the final TMCs, travel management companies, tour operators, or travel sellers, right? For making customer experience better. And often I see, although it is synchronized, but however, there are a lot of legacy technology foundations are there. The platforms are still using old tech stacks. There are siloed in terms of, different models when they operate. So let's discuss about these problem statements, and let's discuss about collaboration, like what we can do to make sure that the next era will definitely bring us more collaborative experiences in travel. So I would like to ask the first question to Sachin. Sachin, I know that you have very good experience about building the startup of blockchain. What are the major inefficiencies you find in travel right now, which you can see that can be overcome by blockchain? I know payment, there are a lot of solutions in place, but there are other solutions, real problem statements such as cancellations, refunds, which ticks in. What do you think? What is your perspective?
Thank you, Gaurav. Of course, the travel industry is muddled with a lot of inconsistencies and inefficiencies mentioned by the other panelists. If you look at it, this is world's largest employer. Around 330 million people work, 10% of world's GDP. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about cross-border transactions. We're talking about having a trade and exchange of the product being sold and bought by different people, different continents, different currency. So for example, someone was mentioning the one large OTA who they would just call the hotels to confirm the booking. The problem lies in inconsistencies in centralized databases. Everyone goes out and build their own centralized systems. So there is no single source of truth. So for example, he books a hotel, my system gives the confirmation, he's going, he's the fulfillment partner. None of the systems talk. So that's a one inconsistency blockchain is immediately solving, and we have built the entire OTA platforms on a blockchain, which is a very, very critical to build a single source of truth when it comes to all the parties are looking at same point of data and confirm and verify. We also work on creating the payment solutions where money is acquired in one currency but settled in multiple currencies. There are multiple counterparties. So we built the Xeni Pay, the payment settlement system, account reconciliation and the settlement system on our platform, and we're also planning to offer it outside of our system ecosystem. These two major factors we're currently working on, but the blockchain can assist in terms of hotel mapping, because then you have a unique idea of the properties. It also helps AI system because you are having a better data, and that data can be also used to build a very convenient AI suggestions or whatever the large language model works on. They have a more accurate data. That's what we have worked on. I think that's how the collaborative technology part comes in, because then now you're connecting all the systems worldwide and making it unique, and everybody has access to that point of data. Thanks.
Thank you. Aeijaz, I know about, Sachin talks about inconsistencies, right? And this is definitely a problem statement right now. What do you think, the companies who are emerging right now, or the bigger players, the massive bigger players, what are the things, like in terms of inconsistencies, which are happening right now in our system, but what are the efficiencies gained with collaboration we can think of?
Yeah, hi everyone once again, and thanks for having me here. Uh, just to give a little bit background, I represent Yanolja Cloud Solution, and I work with the one side, the travel providers, so the largest OTAs, the Booking and Expedia and on so on. And at the other side, we work with the products, right? The suppliers, so basically the hotels. We deal with the hotels. So we understand a little bit of the both the side when we provide the PMS, channel manager solutions to the hotels. Now, when you are talking about uh, collaboration, right, and the B2B technology, see, I mean, my experience is a little bit different when it comes to especially 1 to 3 star types of properties because we work with them. When we talk about the Hyatt and Marriott's, maybe they have sorted to the certain level. But when we go to the bottom, right, there's a completely unstructured, no collaboration, no integration, right? And that's where I think the collaboration of the technology to distribute the inventory is real need, and it can really help the hotels. If I talk about the hotels, so if I have to distribute to the Akbar, if I have to distribute to the Clear TV, I have to distribute to Traveland, there's a huge challenge for the hotel to work with every individual. And that's where the collaboration with the B2B travel providers and the hotels with the such platform can really solve the problem. And a lot of human interaction involved in direct contacting can be removed. And this can help on the hotel side a huge a lot, removing the inefficiencies. Yeah.
Thank you, and I completely agree on that. Ayush, from your perspective, I heard from different panels about Gen AI, and it's definitely a very hot topic right now. Everyone wanted to talk about it. Everyone wanted to understand more about it. But what do you think? Because there are companies who have that background of building big, massive products. What do you think that Gen AI as a product, to solve the problems in real problems, what Aeijaz was talking about, is Gen AI is going to help us in terms of solving all the problems of industry in typical for travel industry, what Aeijaz was talking about, the small layer for 3 star or 2 star, 1 star properties?
So let me take you or give you a high-level view of how Gen AI or how, like somebody mentioned, agentic workflow, right? Now consider me as a traveler. I want a system which can take my calendar, something that I can say I have a meeting at 11 in Bangalore, and it can book my entire itinerary. It can decide on my itinerary, saying that since you are traveling from Delhi to Bangalore and your house is 2 hours away from the airport, this is the cab, this is the time the cab should be, this is the time you should pick the flight airline, and then the cab is waiting in Bangalore to take me to the location. Now the entire thing can be, so itinerary can be generated using a like LLM, large language generative AI model, and then a collaborative platform can help me book the entire thing. So for a traveler, that would be something that I can dream of being a very convenient way to move forward. Right? So that is how we can use it. From a B2C perspective. From a collaborative platform perspective, one major challenge that we see when I work with startups, when I work with companies, one major problem that I see is changing APIs. One day, one vendor changes their API, the entire ecosystem has to follow through, has to run behind their developers to adopt to that changes because the system will start failing after that. Now, having a layer of Gen AI in between, which can let's say, adjust to the changing API without human intervention. The LLM or the Gen AI models can do that with proper training, with proper management. It can be done, and this is something that will create a huge change in the market.
Thank you, Ayush. Sachin, next question for you. Of course, it is a costly affair to build, something with Gen AI. But what do you think that in terms of, let's say, today the technology is there, and if someone wanted to invest in that technology, how could be that they will be at par in terms of future? Because technology is rapidly changing, right? So what would your suggestions or take in terms of that? Okay, how should we build something which is today, but will be even better for tomorrow, or looking after the problem, solving the problems for tomorrow as well?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There could be some of the tasks which can be taken over by Gen AI, or the tools, subset of tools which could be built on top of it. The way I look at it is a huge multifold opportunity, right? And there will be thousands of startups coming up. But we are at a stage where just started experimenting with LLMs. And what LLMs are telling you, they're just taking, and almost everybody's in the sector here. It's right now, garbage in, garbage out. The only thing you can get out is you prompt something and it prompts you back with some gibberish answer, which is not so perfect, but now it's near perfect, right? So it's learning its mechanism. I believe there is no travel company in the world has structured the data to harness the power of AI. It's not even Expedia, it's not even bookings. All of them are struggling to get a more effective tools. As other panelists were mentioning about differentiator or disruptive, the LLM became disruptive because they were just taking the mundane task and responding back to you how to do it better. But in travel, there are a lot of offline, online situations where you can just simply have AI take over your calendar and do whatever it wants, and then maybe you don't like it. And then there is real consequences of money. I believe that there will be small subset of features will be released over the period of next 4 to 5 years, and then someone will come up with piecing all of this together through one single thing. Going back to your piece, it's expensive. Of course it is, but it's not going to give an ROI. In near-term capital in the third world, even the first world countries, the problem is the US typically invest in the companies at a very, very high pace, even if it has a success chance of 5%. So the risk appetite, risk capital on the other side of the world is very higher, where they could deploy hundreds of millions of dollars to experiment and see what features stick to the wall. That's my answer.
Thank you so much, Sachin. Aeijaz, for you, Sachin touched base about LLM models, large language models, plus the data, right? It's definitely very, very key aspect right now. But I wanted to ask you about that. There is always a dilemma in terms of build versus buy, right? So what do you think that how should a company, or what factors should company consider before thinking of building proprietary technology versus collaborating with other partners?
So here we are specifically talking about the travel companies, right? So I think it's each company situation and the call and the mission they are on. If as a company, my mission is the differentiator is the technology. I want to consider my company mode as a technology, then definitely I would suggest that build the technology in-house. It gives control, it gives the flexibility, right? From the data perspective, the integrations perspective, and all the possibilities. But at the same time, it's a lengthy process. Okay, it requires a huge initial investments in terms of the R&D. It will take more time for go to the market. At the same time, there may be solutions available readily, and you can just white label and start easily, just open up any new market, new vertical within you, and that can be much, much faster. And even you can try out and you like go on the subscription model or something like that. The point is, it's not the right and wrong, but I believe that it's individual founders, individual companies, how they want to position themselves, right? What differentiating they want to create about, and that's how they want to choose. And probably the hybrid model also can work, where certain part of the technology can be in-house, and certain part of the technology can be really can be outsourced, where they can take it the ready solutions. For example, the payment solutions, right? The fraud prevention technology and all, which can be used from the third party. Yeah.
Thank you.
just
Yeah,
to add to
please.
what he said, when we are deciding, so like I come from entrepreneurship and then now helping other startups, other companies build on technology solutions. So one thing that I would suggest, what is the differentiator you are adding? Like if you are building your technology, and like as an engineer, I love building, and I'm sure all engineers out there love building. Like, but the cost of building, the time essence, the time cost, it's opportunity cost that you are delaying your go-to market. That is one important aspect. The other part that we talk a lot at AWS also is total cost of ownership. It's not about just building the product, building the technology, it's about maintaining it. Like I mentioned, the API is failing. When you are building a product, you want to integrate with other companies, and then when you are integrating, everything fails, right? So the cost of managing that particular piece of technology is something that you should consider. And if it is not bringing in that value to your company, if you are not able to create, or if you are not creating something that is differentiating than what another company is doing, then I think you should not be creating technology. Yeah.
You wanted to add on,
Yeah,
Sachin?
I would like to add, I mean, yeah, a great point. But I'm trying to make a completely different point here. We are at a cusp of seeing a complete consumer behavioral change, also the product buy and sell process change. I think next 5 years will be super eventful in terms of major disruptions coming in different industries. Travel will still be lagging because of the legacy systems it is riddled with, and we started the event with a bunch of GDS folks here, and you yourself being a GDS folks, you know how antiquated your systems are, including the PNR system. So I believe there is a big change required, and I hope they're listening to me. I'm not picking on them, but there has been problem in those legacy technologies.
Thank you so much for sharing these details. I'd like to open, audience to ask questions so that we can conclude this session. Okay, that gentleman there.
Can I ask you a question?
Please go ahead.
The legacy system that you're talking about, can you just be a little more elaborate and clear? Are you talking about the GDSs especially?
Sorry, come again on your last part.
I said the legacy systems that you're talking about. Are you referring to the GDSs, or are you also referring to
Yeah, I don't want to pick a fight. I want to go with all my limbs
That's okay.
intact, and I don't want to hurt anybody's sentiment here. Yes, I am talking about GDSs. I am talking about every single travel tech company who is currently centralized and not making it open source, not making it convenient for a better innovation. I think this industry is absolutely primed for innovation, but it is controlled by oligopolistic companies. Everybody knows it, whether they are in payments, whether they are in aggregation, whether they are in distribution. Yes.
No, I understand what you're saying, but tell me at the moment, what is the alternative for large content availability? GDSs are the only ones who are actually providing you the large content. Now, I do understand your point. I completely agree with you. I also worked with Travelport before, and now I'm a technology guy. I'm not with Travelport anymore. But the alternative seems, at this juncture, very small. There is a little possibility to ignore the GDSs, and therefore the existence, the survival becomes important. And I think that's what is happening at this point. And also, if you look at the market segmentation, you're talking about the B2C customer base in travel, B2C, maybe B2C companies. What you're saying is very correct. But if you look at corporate travel, if you look at B2B, I think GDSs are still playing an important role. I'm just trying to understand. I'm not.
No, absolutely. As Sanjay said, and I'll take my part in that. I don't come from legacy travel industry background. I'm venting my frustration here, and I get your point that there's so much already invested, and there's so much done. How we can discard that out, right? So you want to go back to the classic example when Amazon started an e-commerce shop, and ClearTrip and all other followed suite of selling everything online, right? And it's the same thing. everybody said it's never going to happen. You're not going to buy a watch online, you're not going to buy clothes online, you're not going to buy shoes online, and you buy bloody everything online. So I'm not saying that GDSs are completely indispensable. I would say that they need to position themselves for a better innovation rather than being a blocker, which I see all of the oligopolistic companies which are already standing as a blocker. It could have been much better.
It's relevant to IBM too, by the way, right?
Thank you for your question. I would like to conclude, this session for saying that, well, collaboration is a necessity right now. There is not even a single, we cannot work in silos, whether it is travel distributor, travel suppliers, or, intermediary technology platform who is actually giving all these, services. But yes, but thank you so much for our panelists as well. We are here, of course, 4 of us in the evening, so we can connect more and we can discuss on this particular topic and all other topics as well if you wanted to. Thank you so much.